I, on behalf of Mokshatan Yog Sansthan, welcome you all to the first session of Day 2 of Global Yoga Conference. For this session, we are honored to have among us Ms.Jini Malika Chenji from Taiwan. Ms.Jini Malika Chenji holds a long journey in the field of yoga for more than 25 years and has dedicated her life entirely to the science of yoga. She has translated the holy scripture of Yog Sutras of Patanjali and Bhagavad-Gita from English to Chinese and has served as chairman of Taiwan International Integral Yoga Association. She holds many feathers in her cap, and we are honored to have her among us today to speak on knowing the minds from Yog Sutras and Bhagavad Gita. I request our Guruji and Director of Mokshatan Yog Sansthan, Adarniya Acharya Pratishtha ji, to kindly welcome Ms. Jini Malika Chenji and say a few words.
Thank you. Mind is the subject of yoga, and the entire yoga philosophy revolves around mind. Time when there is a misconception that yoga is only about body, even in the very basic initial sutras of Maharishi Patanjali, it is beautifully mentioned Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. It is about controlling the modifications of your mind. I'm really glad and thankful to Jini Malika Chenji for accepting our invitation and for delivering her session on such an important topic of mind and Bhagavad Gita and knowing your own mind. In our Shastras, it is beautifully said, Maneva Manushyanam Karanam Bandhamokshayo. Mind is the tool to liberation, and mind is the tool to all the bondages of life. One who has learned the science of controlling his or her own mind can control anything in this world. I'm sure this beautiful session by very eminent speaker from Taiwan, Jini Malika Chenji, is going to bring a new perspective towards life, towards mind, towards yoga, Bhagavad Gita, and all of our audiences will get immense benefit from this session. Thank you, Jini Malika Chenji, for accepting our invitation and for being a part of this Global Yoga Conference.
Hari Om. Today we will talk about knowing the mind from Yoga Sutras and Bhagavad Gita. Yoga Sutras and Bhagavad Gita are two extremely important classics. Read them well, and they can change your life. There's a Chinese proverb, 万事唯心造. All things are made by the mind. Life is in your hand. You can be a happy and peaceful person. You can do it. If you want to be a troubled person, you can too. It's all up to you. Why don't you think about it? Let go of your attachment, and you can enter a life that transcends peace. Everything is created by your mind. My guru, Sri Swami Satchidananda, said, to practice integral yoga, you will get an easeful body, peaceful mind, and useful life. So you know, yoga is not only body practice, but mind and soul. Here comes the first important sloka from Yoga Sutras. The second sloka of chapter 1, Samadhipada, which is the most important sloka in the book. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. It means the restraint of the modification of the mind stuff is yoga. What is yoga? When the word yoga is mentioned, most people immediately think of some physical practices for stretching and stress reduction. Well, this is one aspect of the yogic science. It is a good start, but actually, it is only a very small part and relatively recent in development. The physical yoga or hatha yoga was primarily designed to facilitate the real practice of yoga, to understanding and complete mastery over the mind. So the actual meaning of yoga is the science of the mind. We all want to know more about our mind, how they work, and how we can work with them. This field is closer to us than anything else in life. It may be interesting and useful to know how to fix a car or cook a meal and how atoms are split. But something that holds a more immediate and vital interest for thoughtful people is their own mind. All the differences in the outside world are the outcome of your mental modification. The entire world is your own projection. What is the mind? Does it determine our behavior and experience? Or do we create and sustain its activity? What is consciousness? Can we turn within ourselves to study and understand, perhaps even control the mind? This is the subject matter of the ancient science of Raja Yoga. Traditionally, the word of yoga refers to Raja Yoga, the mental science. The primary text of Raja Yoga is called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. There's a saying, as the mind, so the man. Bondage or liberation are in your own mind. If you feel bound, you are bound. If you feel liberated, you are liberated. Things outside neither bind nor liberate you. Only your attitude toward them does that. If you can have control over the thought forms and change them as you want, you are not bound by the outside world. There's nothing wrong with the world. You can make it heaven or a hell according to your approach. That is why the entire yoga is based on Chitta Vritti Nirodha. If you control your mind, you have controlled everything. Then there's nothing in the world to bind you. How can we help the mind and make it healthy with the practice of yoga? Firstly, eat the proper food, the sattvic food. Sattvic food makes the body and mind calm and clear, like vegan food. This includes fruit, nuts, vegetables, and so on. Secondly, to practice yoga, go through the 8 steps of yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga. There are first 2 steps, yama, niyama. They are the foundation of our behavior and idea, the 10 virtues, like 10 commandments. If you can follow the guideline of yama and niyama, as shown in the picture, kind and fierce animals are willing to approach you. If you are walking on the street, the dog barking at you, then you have to review. Is it because of the wrong food or behavior, improper daily life, and improper breath in your body, and the dog doesn't like the smell on you? Asana, the 3rd step, body stretch. Patanjali gave a beautiful and important concept about how to practice and what is asana. The second chapter, Sadhana Pada, Sloka 46. He said, Stila Sukhamasanam means asana is a steady, comfortable posture. Pranayama, to deal with chi, the breath, the nadis, and the energy, how to guide them to the right place to get your health and life force. Above 4 steps are the outside practice. The next 4 steps are going inward. Now the 5th step, pratyahara. Withdraw all the senses to avoid the pursuit of the satisfaction of the desires. Dharana, concentration. The practice of concentration will lead you into meditation and samadhi. Dhyana, meditation. This is a big subject. Actually, the last 3 steps should practice together, called sanyama. It goes from one step to another continuously, and finally into samadhi. Now the last step, samadhi, it is the final state of Sat Chit Ananda, which is eternal wisdom and bliss. Then you are in Kaivaya. You are free from all the disturb of the mind, waveless, crystal clear. You can infinite mental consciousness to infinite consciousness. This is the samadhi of the mind. With all the practices above, you will get peaceful body, peaceful mind, and useful life. The other secret book, Bhagavad-Gita, also talk about the Raja Yoga. There are total 18 chapters and 700 slokas in this book. Now I will give you some slokas related to the mind from the Bhagavad-Gita. Chapter 2, sloka 53. Lord Krishna said, when your mind is tormented by both positive and negative thoughts, if you can come down and reach a state of balance, you can experience what yoga is. This is similar to Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha of the Sutras. Krishna also said in Sloka 48, equanimity of mind is yoga. Do everything, Arjuna, centered in the equanimity, renouncing all the attachment. You will enjoy an undisturbed mind in success or failure. This is a representative picture in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna took Arjuna to the battlefield in a carriage. The 5 white horses represent our human sense organs. They are constantly run out to seek the satisfaction of desires. Krishna taught Arjuna to take up the reins to control desires. Now let's watch a video of my Guru Sri Swami Satchidananda saying, holding nothing.
Bhagavad-Gita talks about a true devotee who will be very dear to God. Krishna says, who is my most cherished, beloved, chosen devotee? the one who possesses nothing. Nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukka sugachami. Without any mama and aham, me and mine, he is my dearest devotee. Not the one who builds big shrines, performs abhishekams and spends a lot of money in puja, or prints a lot of scriptures and distributes freely. Anybody can do that. But the most dearest devotee of mine is the one who possesses nothing. Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkha Samaha. Pleasure, pain, profit, loss, all taken equally. The one who has that equanimity. And you cannot have that equanimity without having a detached life. Selfishness means immediately bound. Even a little selfishness, so-called simple, harmless selfishness, you are harmlessly bound. You give a nice talk, at the end look for a thank you. Is it a selfless talk or a selfish talk then? Huh? Sometimes people who are a little argumentative, just for the sake of argument, they will say, where is the harm? I did a good job. Don't you think I deserve a thank you note? Is there anything wrong with that? It's a very pertinent question. But the problem is, you may get thank you, but if you don't get the thank you, you lose your peace. These fellows, I was wasting my time to these ignorant fellows. They don't even know any understanding or culture or etiquette. After hearing an hour talk, they didn't even know how to applaud a little. They seem to be all fools. See? You put them down, criticize them. Why? Because you didn't get the thank you. Even that little expectation will make you lose your peace.
See, if you can control your desires and holding nothing, then you will be peaceful and joyful. In Yoga Sutras, chapter 2, sloka 42, contentment brings the greatest joy. So always be in contentment. The next conversation, I really like it. That's the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, sloka 33 to 35. Arjuna said, the mind is so unmanageable, unruly, as a monkey. Monkey never stops moving. It is fickle, stubborn, and strong. Lord Krishna, controlling it is harder than catching the wind. How can we control the mind? You see how difficult to catch the wind, so you know how difficult to control the mind. Then the Lord said, Oh, mighty Arjuna, undoubtedly the mind is restless and very difficult to control. But with steady practice, in Sanskrit, abhyasa, and non-attachment, viragya, it can be controlled. And chapter 2, sloka 41, if your mind is unstable and floating, then your thoughts and choices will be indecisive and hesitant. When your mind is clear and focused, you will only make one choice. Sloka 51. If one can enjoy the equanimity of the state of mind, give up the expectation of action in return, and be free from the constraint of samsara, reincarnation, the wise man will undoubtedly reach the state of cleanliness. It is so inspiring to know that in India, Bhagavad-Gita is still memorized, and in some of the educational institutions is daily chanted, and for inspiration. It was and is a favorite scripture of countless yogis. It belongs to the culture of ancient India, but it has a message of all times and all places. Now I will tell you a story. There are two monks, one old and one young. One day they went down the mountain from the temple, and going to a village, they would pass a river. At that time, it was raining, and the river was rushing. A beautiful girl squatted by the river and cried because she couldn't cross the river. So the old monk picked up the girl and crossed the river. After letting her go, the two monks continued on their way. Along the way, the young monk kept silent. But finally, he couldn't hold back and asked the old monk, "We monks are not supposed to close to women, especially the young and beautiful woman. It is very dangerous. So why do you do that?" "What? That woman?" the old monk replied. "I let her go ever since I brought her across the river. Are you still holding her?" Another story. An old lady who has two daughters. One sells umbrellas for the rain protection, and the other sells straw hats for sun protection. The old lady frowned all day, and the neighbor asked her why. The old lady sighed and said, "When it rained, I was worried that my older daughter would not be able to sell umbrellas. But when it was sunny, I was worried that the younger daughter would not be able to sell the straw hat." After listening to this, the neighbor said with a smile, "You are so lucky. On sunny day, your younger daughter's business is particularly good. On rainy days, your older daughter's umbrella shop is full of customers. So whether it is sunny or rainy, every day is a happy day. It's really enviable." You can be a happy person or a sad and troubled person. It all depends on what you think. What we have learned up until now, Raja Yoga, the science of the mind, is a big subject. What we have to do is practice yoga, all the 8 limbs of yoga, to know the mind and get along with it and control the mind. Keep on practicing abhyasa, steady practice, and viragya, non-attachment. Let go all the desires, holding nothing, and so on. The ultimate aim is to bring about a thorough change of the individual who practices it sincerely. A total transformation of a seemingly limited physical, mental, and emotional person into a fully illumined, thoroughly harmonized, and perfect being. From an individual with duality, like and dislike, pains and pleasures, success and failure, to a state of permanent peace, joy, and selfless dedication to the entire creation. Yoga is a long road, one step at a time. Things in the world come and go. Control your mind. Let go of your attachment. Practice yoga and live a relaxed, peace, and happy life. God bless you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.